live. Oh, it doesn't work when I'm not live, I guess. Let's try it again. Okay, what's up, everybody? It's iCkEdMeL. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Sorry, I'm like 4 minutes late. I was gonna say 2. And the thing is still not working. Yo, thank you guys so much for coming by. If you wouldn't mind hitting like, I'd appreciate it. And I want to chat with you guys for a little bit before we get started. Make sure my volume is good here. Before we get started, Swag, it ain't working. Swag said F you. I was up late last night and I was working on the video that you're gonna see after this live stream. So I did an update to that whole Charlie story, 2014, Nancy Grace, the father. It took me down this crazy ass rabbit hole. So I stayed up working on that. When I uploaded it and I set it to review, YouTube demonetized it today. So I deleted it and I re-uploaded it. They'll probably re-demonetize it. So after the stream, when I take you over there, please, if you could hit like at least. YouTube said screw me for all those hours. So if you guys could do that, I'd appreciate that when we go over there later. And it's like 30 minutes long. I think you'll enjoy it. Really crazy. And still, that story is kind of mysterious. It's not like really open and shut. It's kind of, I don't know, with the whole basement thing, the tunnel thing, grow house thing, supposedly lawsuit thing. Dude tried to sue, the father tried to sue Nancy Grace. Crazy. If you haven't seen that story, go watch the original one I did yesterday. And let's see here. And then after this, I'm gonna present that video. Now, one thing too before we get started, if you guys don't mind me chatting, because I enjoyed sometimes talking and rambling. I had this thought today. I went to go exercise this morning, right? And I was thinking that what do you guys prefer? For people that work out, people that exercise, or you have worked out and exercised at one point in your life? What the hell? YouTube's giving me some weird ass glitch. Do you guys prefer to work out in the gym or in the sun? Or either or both? Because I was thinking I had the thought today because I was going to go to the gym, but then I went to go work out outside. You know, it's Florida, so it's sunny. And there's just something about the sun that's like therapeutic. And then I was thinking like, damn, I don't know if I should do both or just, you know, mix it in and out throughout the week. I'm not sure. And then we were talking about supplements in the chat. And I just want to say real quick, if you're into supplements, some of the best stuff you can get is ashwagandha. Indoors, you prefer indoors? Gym? A lot of people saying gym. I like the gym because it's super focused. You can like, especially with weights and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, there's something about the sun, man. It just betters your mood and shit. Like it's just, yeah, maybe I should do a poll. This is not sponsored or anything, but ashwagandha, I like this supplement. I mean, this product, but there's another one that's better. It's not going to fix though. There's another one that's better here. This one has ashwagandha, L-theanine, Relor, something else. And then for, I mean, women can take this too, but guys, this stuff is amazing. L-citrulline or L-arginine. Not only is it good for like, I think pumps and nitric oxide, but I spoke to this doctor recently. I was in this guy's office, one of the nicest offices I've ever been in. And he told me, I forgot which one it was, L-arginine or L-citrulline, one of them. It was like, you take 3 grams of this stuff daily for men. It's going to be off. Yo, Hoax, you out there? He was like, try that shit. The other thing too that I like a lot, ginkgo biloba. This one has turmeric in it as well. Really good for like memory, blood, and something else. I don't know. Promotes clarity and focus, concentration. Something to do with circulation as well too. Ashwagandha is amazing. And then everybody's like deficient in this crap. Vitamin D. I got this from a compound pharmacy. And this one has vitamin D and vitamin K. Vitamin K, I don't know. I forgot what vitamin K is for. It helps with something. And it has some other stuff. I think absorption or something like that. So just wanted to talk about that real quickly. Good stuff. Yeah, ginkgo is really good. I noticed that it helps with my memory because my memory is pretty bad. It does help out with that a lot. Well, that's the thing with vitamins, shit, bro. Like you can end up taking a bunch of stuff all day long, and is it really beneficial? There's some people that take a bunch of stuff every day. I used to do that too. When man, you could kind of say I still do that, but like I feel like the multivitamin stuff, it doesn't really do much. But I feel like ashwagandha is one of those things that you actually notice. You take this shit, you might even notice it the same day. You will notice you're calmer, more relaxed. You deal with stress better. Ashwagandha is amazing. Sheila, Sheila, yo, I'm telling you, this stuff, the L-arginine, it takes a while though. You can't just take it one time. L-citrulline, you got to take it for like I don't know, like a month, 2 months, and I'm telling you, you will notice. For guys, it's crazy. Tongue Cat Alley, I have that in the cabinet. The only thing with Tongue Cat Alley, that stuff is strong. You need to you have to alternate it. Like you have to what I would do is I would take it for 5 days and then I would take off the weekend and then take it 5 days again. L-arginine, one time I took it straight through without taking time off and I started getting like all these pimples on my back and stuff. So like you have to alternate and take days off with Tongue Cat. That stuff is super strong, like potent. Ashwagandha is amazing, man. It's one of the best, one of my favorite ones. I've been taking it for years. I feel like ashwagandha, you should take some time off too every now and then. Probably with everything, you should take some time off and let your body like regulate. Before we start with Nancy Grace, I'm gonna there's like 3 video clips from News Nation we can watch, and then we'll watch Nancy Grace. I've been following the whole thing with this story, and by the way, the whole thing with Jack S. When I covered that story, the father had spoken about that, Steve, right? And I don't know where Steve got that from. It was from the New York Post. I did an interview with him, and you know, my mind's just flickering with the supplement thing. We should probably have a supplement page on Discord. I think I'm gonna do that. So the father did an interview with Jack, with the New York Post, I think, and he spoke about Jack S. and that, you know, supposedly the guy, he had heard, or there was like rumors that he fled the country and the DNA thing. Well, I seen people talking about on Discord. I saw last night. I'm sure it's buried now in all the messages on there, which I appreciate everybody on Discord. Thank you so much for all the information you guys put on there. But there was a post where somebody was saying that it's not true, that he didn't flee the country. You know, I don't know what's what. And it was an anonymous post on Facebook. I really don't know what's what with that situation, but there's people saying it's not true. There's people saying it is true. I really don't know, bro. But I was, you know, reporting on what the father said. And again, I really don't witch hunt these people. Don't start looking for their families, like harassing them. Some people take it to the next level. Milk thistle is amazing, Tracy. Milk thistle. I've taken that a couple of times. I don't take it regularly, but if you want to clean out your kidneys, good stuff. Amazing stuff. That stuff is no joke. Milk thistle. Legit. Like you look it up, you do research on it. Really good supplement. That's a good one to mention. So let's check out some of these clips. The thing with this guy, I don't know, man. Jack S. I really don't know. Magnesium is really good for relaxing too. Or like if you want to take it at night to sleep. Lemon balm is super underrated. This one that I take that has ashwagandha in it, it has lemon balm in there too. Lemon balm, highly underrated. Good stuff.
That there is now a trove of 20 minutes worth of video that, you know, it's body cam, so it sweeps pretty wildly. But you and I both know from a forensic and pragmatic approach to crime solving, that is like manna from heaven. They can still frame every moment of that video and see absolutely everything in the background. What do you assume they're going to be looking for?
I think they're going to be looking for people walking around, headlights, cars, people on bikes, any noises, because there is audio. anything flicking on in and out of houses, anything in the background that might lead them to a vehicle, a body type, anything like that could be crucial in breaking open this investigation. And as you said, they have 20 minutes of this from 2 different angles. This really is a trove of information that could possibly change the trajectory of this investigation. And, you know, we at Daily Mail posted some photos not too long ago, exclusive photos of the second floor into the house. And I think that does something similar. The purpose of releasing these things are so that not only the investigators, but the people who are from that area, know that area, been in that house, have been in this park, could look at something and say, that doesn't look right, that piques my interest, and contact investigators. The public's viewing of these things is integral to.
Damn, Slick X. You guys are just catching me in the chat. Slick X, NAC is really good for that too. Highly under. I don't know too much about it, but I've always heard about it when I've researched it. A reason to maybe, I don't know what the reason would be to clean your kidneys. I mean, if you're somebody that's drank a lot over the years, or like, I don't know. I thought, I mean, I don't know. I think fatty liver, I don't know if that's reversible over time. I mean, we could probably even do a whole stream on the whole shit. Fatty liver reversible. I think it depends how much damage. Fatty liver can be reversed and even cured if patients take action, including a 10% sustained loss in body weight. It's an antioxidant. Yeah, there's things you can do
to solving this case.
Well, I mean, I would be looking for headlights that are moving around. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. It is not a normal time for loads of traffic. So any headlights that are moving in a certain direction may have come from a direction where there would be other cameras. I would be, without question, scouring. I'd be blowing up every single inch of that to see if there's a shadowy figure moving in a certain direction. Again, it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
And how are they moving?
Out on the street.
You know, how are they moving?
Exactly.
How are the cars driving? Are they, is it oddly slow? Is it really fast? Are they running? Do they look suspicious? Do they look like they're hiding from something? Are they moving swiftly? Right. Do they discard something? These could all be really important points.
Huge. Not only that, but how about all those lights that are on in the buildings that are surrounding campus? I mean, if you've interviewed somebody already who said I was dead asleep at that time, and then you can zero in on that room and see that the lights are shining bright, you know you need a new re-interview. But that is, exactly. It may not look like much, but you know, the kids in the foreground, they may not mean anything at this point. It might have just been some kids being, you know, college kids, but it's the background that could provide so much. Caitlin Becker, always good to talk to you. Thank you for that. Appreciate
it. I watched that. Killer on the loose for more than 3 weeks. You guys think the killer's still in town? By the way, somebody corrected me. They said milk thistles for the liver. I think it's mainly for the liver, but it can help a little bit the kidneys too, or something. Through enhancing liver as well as kidney, pancreatic function, something like that.
And if there's any updates on the mysterious man in the hoodie, and we focused quite a bit on that story last night. He was cleared. He was at the food truck. He certainly looked very suspicious to a lot of people who have been watching this case. But do we have any updates as to what exactly is happening with him?
Yes, I would say he's on everyone's radar again.
So this guy's highlighted again. The white hoodie guy, which people believe is Jack S. The focus has reignited back on this guy, and you know, and so and you know, Kaylee's father had mentioned him as well, and feeling like the family's kind of alluded to him being cleared too fast.
Or still, he's always been on my radar, and people are talking. As far as the true crime community goes, he is the talk. Let's go back and look at this video. People are hearing that he might, and this is a maybe, it's a speculation, it hasn't been confirmed, but that he might have left the country.
So there's talk everywhere about that. You know, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but it is being talked about. And Kaylee's father did mention it.
Even we're trying to confirm that, but no one can get a hold of him right now either. And so he's not coming forward and saying, no, I'm here.
What do you guys think about Jack S? I mean, I really don't like to put anything on anybody, but it really is the conversation that's happening. Right? Oh, I just pinned the wrong comment.
You wonder where he is.
Well, we had a News Nation producer who went and knocked on his family's door. No answer there. Didn't appear to be home at the time. But I do have this question. It's fine to be curious and to try to put clues together. But, you know, one person, Jeremy Reagan, was assailed and harassed online after being cleared by the Moscow police.
Jeremy.
And I'm wondering if the same thing is happening to the young man in the hoodie, who has never been named publicly, but certainly internet sleuthers have come up with a name and an address and would know where to find him.
Yeah, you mentioned the downside of internet sleuths, and we, have to be careful. But I want to point out something that is actually really interesting. You mentioned Jeremy. Jeremy was being harassed. He was being what is called doxxed. It was awful because he did a few interviews for the television. And you know what he did? He ran to the police station. He said, "Here's my DNA. Test it. Please let everybody know that I'm innocent." Have we seen Hoodie Guy do that? Have we seen him come forward and say, "Hey, I'm not in Africa. I'm right here in my home. Hey, you know what? I have nothing to do with this. And I know that they've cleared me, but I'm going to show all of you. Here's my DNA." Have we seen him do that?
Well, we haven't, but we don't know if that has happened. That's the other issue, is that he very well may have done an extensive debrief with the police, may have submitted DNA, and may actually be on camera somewhere with an alibi that's airtight. These are the things we don't know, so the speculation is always so dangerous. But Lauren Matthias, thank you for joining me tonight. Sure appreciate it. Thank you for watching.
So it is a big topic of conversation for sure. Oh, this other thing too, and then we'll get to Nancy Grace. Tomorrow, Idaho families begin to receive victims' belongings. So I guess I think they were clearing out the belongings in the house.
That body camera video that you just showed,
Email? Let me take a look.
having been here, I mean, that is so eerie to see. I mean, I get that incident, police say, has nothing to do with the murders, but standing where I'm standing, like, I'm just looking a half a block from where I am, exactly where this video is. I know exactly what those buildings are. They're right here. And to think that the police were so close to this house, and I know it's really likely just.
And what is this video thing that they're talking about? This video incident or whatever this is?
Coincidence, and they were far enough away that maybe they couldn't hear anything. But
so it's a body cam footage. They responded to an incident nearby.
I mean, they were so close around the time that these murders were happening. The fact that is on video, I mean, I just can't believe it. But back to the fraternity house, Sigma Chi. It is today for the first time. The president spoke with us. We'd been to the house before, and
that's the video we were just watching.
And either people weren't opening the door or there was no one outside. Today we managed to catch the president outside. Listen to what he told us.
I knew them. Ethan was always in our house. Xana was a good friend before Ethan even came up.
See what this guy's saying.
But that's all I really want to talk about. Xana was a good friend before Ethan even came up. But that's all I really want to talk about right now because I actually have class here in like 15 minutes.
Does anyone know where they were during that timeline? Like there's still this big chunk where.
As of right now, we've told Moscow PD, Idaho State Police, and the FBI all we know. We're kind of leaving it up to them to piece it together. Obviously, we don't have the utilities or resources to do it on our own, so we're just putting full faith in the officers and the detectives doing it. But that's all I really know right now.
Are there any cameras around?
Not on the property.
I think that was probably the most interesting thing that he said, Ashley, was that there are no cameras, because we still got all these questions about the timeline, especially when it comes to Xana and Ethan being at the party at the house, but apparently no cameras there.
Were there a lot of Sigma Chi members there? I just could only imagine that it being one of the last, places where Ethan and Xana were seen before they were killed, and so many kids not returning to school. What's the status there? And is there any evidence of sort of national chapter or adults who have come in to say we need to start managing the situation here? It seemed interesting that you were able to just get that interview with that president right outside the front doors.
Yeah, I was surprised too, because there has sort of been this feeling here that the national chapter or whoever is sort of controlling things with these college students because
the college influence, the college town. By the way, make sure you guys check out the sponsor of the channel. Doing a $500 giveaway at the end of the month. And all you have to do is click the link, download the app, and follow me. I'm posting videos on there. And you get swag bucks on there, which convert to gift cards. So I'm about to convert one. I have enough points to convert a pay. You can actually do a PayPal conversion as well too if you want the money straight to your account. That's not bad at all. The other thing too, if you guys could hit like, I'd appreciate that. It helps out the stream. The college influence, the college town influence, the church influence. What's going on in that town?
For a long time, they weren't really talking to us at some of these fraternities and sororities. We just happened to be outside kind of, milling around as we do, trying to find new information when he came out. And he was very open to talking to us, which was nice to have happen today. It does seem like there's a lot of fraternity members in the house. I mean, it's been busy. People come and go every day. We hear them outside at night. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like, it's quiet over there at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure it isn't business as usual. I'm sure things are definitely different, and there's a pall that's been cast over everything that they're doing. The other big news today is that the police say that the families will finally get some of the kids' belongings back. So tell me what's going to happen. There's still crime tape up behind you in that home. How, by a matter of just function, are they going to collect these kids' belongings and return them to the families?
Yeah, they are still treating this as a crime scene. So they've got the crime scene tape, as you mentioned. The police chief today announced that they are going to come at some point tomorrow and the next day to remove some personal belongings that belong to the victims that they feel the families should have that would hopefully bring them some comfort at this point. How they're going to go about doing that, how they're going to choose which items to remove from the crime scene and which items to leave, we don't know. They've asked for some privacy in doing that. We don't know if they're gonna, in some situations like this, they might put tarps up or move cars around or vans to sort of protect the privacy of what's going on. But we know that process is going to start tomorrow.
One other thing that was curious, the police said tonight, and maybe you can shed some light on what this meant, but they asked that the roads be kept clear in Moscow, Idaho tomorrow. Were they specifying which roads? Were they asking about the road you're standing on now? Is this the privacy issue? It just seems as though if they're loading these personal belongings into a truck to take them to a secure location, why do the roads need to be cleared?
Yeah, so when you're here and standing here, you totally get it. This is like a really small little road that winds up in front of this house. It's really steep. It's really icy. It's really snowy. The garbage trucks haven't even been able to get up. We've got stuck on it a couple of.
And I think he talks about it here too. They posted this video. I just saw this now. I haven't checked, but this is Moscow Police Chief James Fry. It's really short. It's about a minute long.
What is happening at the residence tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow, me and my command team and other individuals will be going in to box up personal belongings of the people that live there. And we're going to be getting those items back to the families. It's time for us to get those things back that really mean something to those families and hopefully to help with some of their healing.
Why do you personally want to be involved in collecting these possessions?
We have a lot of investigators investigating, and I'm not tied into the investigation side of it where I'm physically interviewing people, and it's important to me. It's important for us as a department to go in and take care of the families and get the items for them so that they can have some of those back and some of those memories back that are fond memories. And I'm a dad. I understand the meaning behind some of those things. It may be something that we gave one of our children or something, and we're just trying to bring some of that healing.
As people learn about this stage of the investigation, what do you want to say about where you're at with the investigation?
We're at that point in the investigation where we're still gathering information, we're still gathering tips, we're still gathering evidence, we're still doing everything we need to do. But there also comes a point in time when the family needs to have those belongings back, the ones that we can get them back. They've asked for some of those things back, so we're ready to take care of that for them.
So that was the video from yesterday.
times. So I think what they're saying there is like there's a lot of people that park on the street. They're just asking for this area to be clear, which makes perfect sense because right now it's very difficult to maneuver outside the house.
Thank you for watching.
All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Nancy Grace. Oh, you know what? Let me just really quick. This is completely unrelated, but people were, I mean, kind of. People were talking about this yesterday. I saw this popping up, and it's about this person that, this article here says from 2013. I don't know why it says that because this is more recent. Let me see if I can get the one with the correct date on there. But I think it was like a drowning or something. I'm not sure why this is 20, or maybe it is from 2013. I don't know. Let's see. I thought it was more recent. All right, I'm going to start the Nancy Grace thing because somebody had texted me the link that I think was more current. But I think it was a student that had drowned or something near the camp, or somebody that went to school that drowned. It was ruled a drowning, I think. All right.
Can a retail job be the start of
coming up? That usually means parties, family gatherings, sometimes even travel. Most of us wouldn't let anything get in the way of that. Being nutritious and delicious.
Can a retail job be the start of a life?
Coming up. Big thank you to our partner, Make Your Grocery Store. That is a huge.
So Steve Goncalves, the father of Idaho victim Kaylee Goncalves, says he is so frustrated by how his daughters and other murders have been handled, and he is looking at hiring a private investigator, which I think he might have already. I'm not sure. Goncalves says his daughter, or Goncalves, I think that's how they say it, says his daughter and his friend Maddie deaths are very different, saying Kaylee's injuries are more brutal. He also says that he is receiving a little information from Moscow police. He's concerned that as more people and students leave the area, the killer has too. And I don't think police are really going to tell him anything anymore, because it seems like they're probably trying to contain whatever they know, and they probably feel he's going to put it out there, you know.
Huge break in this murder investigation. We also learn the families of the slain victims are actually hiring private investigators. This as an eerie handprint emerges on the sliding glass door of the so-called murder house. We also understand the family is questioning, were certain people ruled out as suspects way too soon? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Fox Nation and Sirius XM 111. In my mind, evaluating this case, the possibility that, as we pointed out on day one of the girls specifically was targeted. If that's true, that is a watershed moment in this case. First of all, take a listen to this.
Your daughter and Maddie had different means or manner of attack, and that suggests one of them was targeted. Can you share with us, do you know, and you can't share either way, which one was targeted?
I can't. I asked for permission to do just that, and they said no. I probably disclosed information that they wish I wouldn't have said, but the story's going cold. There's less people coming to Moscow. I'm not going to go sleep in my bed knowing that I could get up and I could go to town and I could do something. And I'm not going to go away.
You're hearing our friend Pete Hegseth speaking on Fox News to Kaylee Goncalves' father. Can you imagine that feeling? You're trying to find your daughter's killer, grappling with her murder, and suddenly everybody that seems interested at all in solving the case, one by one, begin to leave town? With me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. But before I go straight out to Stephanie Pagonis, crime reporter of Fox News Digital, I want you to hear one more thing from Kaylee Goncalves' dad Take a listen to him speaking on Fox News.
I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Their means of death don't match.
Maddie's
They don't.
and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
They don't match.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to
may
go up
been
the
target.
steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an alpha. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to go up the steps. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just gonna say it. It wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral. I paid for that. It's my right. You ain't taking that from me.
Calm down.
If you don't want to say nothing, that's your bet. But don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid that bill. Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in the box, and I can speak on that.
You know, Stephanie Pagonis, hold on just one moment. I want to go to a special guest joining us, Ted Williams, former Washington, D.C. police detective, defense lawyer, Fox News contributor, starred on Power of Attorney. Ted, that just gave me chills all the way down my body. Because I know you, like I have spoken to so many homicide victims' families. This dad and mom, you hear the mom going, calm down, calm down. He can't calm down. He's not getting any answers. He is beside himself.
Nancy, he's frustrated and rightfully so. His child that he sent to college came back.
Yo, does she have the, is that the Fox reporter? That's the guy, isn't it? That's the guy that we're always talking about with the, he has a distinct voice. And people love it, or people kind of make fun of it. But I remember his voice. That's him. Let's take a quick look at this, because while we're listening to the podcast, I'm going to be pulling up things in the meantime too. I don't want to get too far away from the podcast, but let's just see what's going on today as well.
And we're just trying to get stuff back to the family so that they can have some closure.
Okay. What did you guys kind of take out? Was it specific things the family wanted?
Some of the things that the family wanted, and just
Ted?
other belongings over there.
And I missed the first statement you made, sir. What was that?
Damn, this lady over here on the floor. I mean, I guess she has to be, but I peeped at the corner of my screen and I was like, what the hell is that? And I realized it's a lady on the ground.
And we're just trying to get stuff back to the family so that they can have some closure.
Okay. What did you guys kind of take out? Was it specific things the family wanted?
Some of the things that the family wanted, and just other.
I guess she's doing the courteous thing, trying to stay out of the camera angle for you.
And I missed the first statement you made, sir. What was that?
We just went in to gather belongings so that the family can have some of that stuff.
Yesterday you talked about, I can't imagine how difficult it is for you. Last time you guys were here, it was a horrendous crime scene. To have to go back into the house, what was that like?
You know, we have a job to do, and I said yesterday that we're going to do our job. We're going to do it to the best of our ability, and we owe this to the family, we owe this to the victims, we owe this to our community. So we're going to continue on, but we'd like to get going now so that we can.
Chief, just real quick, are there any updates today with the investigation that you can share?
At this point in time, I don't know that because I haven't been there, but I'll be there later, and maybe I can answer that question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Picking up the boxes?
The boxes. Stuff out. Lisa posted the link to this. Thanks. All right, we'll keep going back.
Him in a box. And as your audience should understand, this is a very, very emotional scenario for that man. And when you look at the fact that they talked about this targeted, and then you get word from investigators, well, we don't know who the target was. Well, we don't know if the house was targeted. This is a bunch of BS. Either you put out a legitimate story or you don't say a damn thing. And under the circumstances here, this father has a right to feel the way he does. And if you think about it for a second, if the killer or killers came through the sliding glass door on the back of the home, he would have encountered both Ethan and Zany on the second floor of that home. If they were the target, well, he would have killed them, and it's more likely than not that he would have been left.
So there was a whole bunch of like everybody trying to figure out what the father meant, because he was kind of, you can kind of read between the lines and understand what he's saying, but it could also be interpreted so many other ways. And so he's saying here that what the father meant is that if his daughter, Kaylee and Maddie, weren't the targets, that this perp that went through the sliding door would have just went, killed Xana and Ethan, and went back out and been about his way. But he went in that sliding door, and I don't know what was first. He killed Kaylee and Maddie. Obviously, one of the theories is that maybe on his way down, maybe somebody woke up, or maybe something happened. I don't know. But we still don't know who the target is, because then you could also argue, you know, he could have just came in the sliding thing, went upstairs, killed him, and left out, unless something happened where they woke up. I mean, it's pretty out of the way to go and kill Xana and Ethan.
But the killer or killers went up to that third floor where Maddie and Kaylee were sleeping together, according to their father. And they were killed on that third floor. The killer, I believe, had to have known something about that home. I believe that the killer has been, or killers, should we say, have been in that home before.
When I heard Ted, the pain and the anger, and Mr. Goncalves' voice, and I can just see the wife, because I've seen it so many times. The wife, you know, holding him by the arm, going, calm down, calm down, calm down, because she knows that when you get crazy and you're angry, the cops don't want to deal with you. They shut you down. But he can't help it. He's at his wit's end. I want to analyze what Ted just told us. And remember, former Washington, D.C. police detective, not only defense attorney, but detective. He's been on just as many homicide scenes as I have been, if not more. You know, Stephanie Pagonis is joining me, crime reporter, Fox News Digital. This is a big deal. This is a very big deal. We've been screaming from day one that somebody, most likely one of the girls, was targeted. And now we have reason to believe it was Goncalves' daughter. Now, you just heard Ted lay out who was on what floor. Explain what he is saying and why it is so critical that the killer goes to the second floor, which kind of looks like the ground floor from one vantage point. There's two people there. They're killed. But he goes up another flight. He could not have gotten in on that third floor. He had to come in through the front door on one or the sliding glass door on two. But he went all the way up to 3 to continue killing. And there is where the other two girls were. Explain it, Stephanie.
Absolutely. So first I want to start by saying, as you said, Nancy, there are 3 stories in this building. On the top floor, the third floor, Kaylee and Maddie were sleeping in the same bed. On the second floor, Xana and Ethan were sleeping. And on the bottom floor, there were 2 other roommates who survived these attacks and were not harmed. Now, as the father said, if this suspect did go through the middle floor, he would have had to have gone up the steps because there is no point of entry on the third floor. So as Ted just explained, if the killer had chosen, or assuming the killer did go through the second floor, he or she could have, you know, attacked Xana and Ethan and then left. But instead, the killer went upstairs to the third floor, again, where there is no point of entry. So that's why Mr. Goncalves seems to be explaining that he thinks this was a deliberate move, not just something where a killer just went through the home and attacked anything he or she saw.
Let's hear it from Steve Goncalves one more time. This is our cut 102. Again, Steve is speaking with our friends at Fox.
There's a couple things that tell me with common sense, but I'm not a professional, so I want to specify that. But they've said the entry point was the slider or the window. It was in the middle floor. So to me, he doesn't have to go upstairs. His entry and exit are available without having to go upstairs or downstairs. Looks like he probably may have not gone downstairs. We don't know that for sure, but he obviously went upstairs. So I'm using logic that he chose to go up there when he didn't have to.
Another thing, were the injuries significantly different on those two girls? And I'm talking about Maddie and Kaylee. Since the killer made such a point to go up to the third floor, were their injuries more severe? Were they posed in any way? Were they, and when I say posing, I don't mean anything extravagant. I mean, were their faces covered up with a pillow? Were they unclothed? Were they moved in any way? That would also differentiate them from the other victims. Take a listen to our Cut 124. This is Jim Murray at Inside Edition.
Published reports say that Kaylee was subjected to a more brutal attack than the other three victims. She was killed on the same bed along with her best friend, Madison Mogen.
And I just did a poll. Do you guys think that Kaylee was the main target? You know, there seems to be some sort of focus too right now as well on Ethan and Xana because of the time gap from the fraternity party to when they got to the house. And that video too that we saw earlier, I feel like we should rewatch it again because I didn't understand the context. And I forgot who it was in the chat. I'm sorry. I thought I saved their name. They said, Mel, there's new police body cam video at fraternity when 911 call was made at 3 a.m. for a person intoxicated laying in the field. It's 20 mins. Can see all the houses around. The footage is 20 minutes. I saw the News Nation clip, but maybe we can watch.
I'm sure it wasn't lost on you that there is now a trove of 20 minutes worth of video.
20.
That, you know, it's body.
Can we? Has this 20 minutes been released? Is that public? Can we find out? Also, Jennifer, thank you so much for the super chat and the membership. I'll just put it up again. I didn't realize it got cut off. Jennifer says, my gut background in criminal justice tells me Kaylee was main target and the rest of the roommates as well. Her final posting with her roommates, including Ethan, on the photo and the two girls downstairs, Kaylee was moving. Let me see. So far, 71% say yes, 29% say no. Because the other thing, too, the other argument about, you know, where, again, and we have to be clear about this, when Kaylee's father, Steve, said that Kaylee had more, the injuries were worse on her, he was talking about comparing Kaylee to Maddie. We don't know, as far as I know, we don't know comparatively the damage that was done to Ethan and Xana. So, but he's also taking into context that this person still, you know, went upstairs kind of out of the way. So if the target was Ethan and Xana, why would this person go upstairs? You know? So, but the whole Kaylee has more damage, that's comparing Kaylee and Maddie. We still don't really know about Ethan and Xana. That's one thing to kind of keep in mind. But let's watch this video again because now we have a little bit more context as far as like, and I kept hearing about this call situation the night of. 911 call was made at 3 a.m. for a person intoxicated laying in the field. It's 20 minutes. Can see all houses and streets.
Cam, so it sweeps pretty wildly, but you and I both know from a forensic and pragmatic approach to crime solving, that is like manna from heaven. They can still frame every moment of that video and see absolutely everything in the background. What do you assume they're going to be looking for?
I think they're going to be looking for people walking around, headlights, cars, people on bikes.
And all the sleuths. This could be a job for the sleuths as well. I don't know if they've released the 20 minutes. I got to look in the chat and see if you guys know. Have they released the 20 minutes of the body cam? Because they could put that shit to the sleuths. They will break that thing down frame to frame, every corner, every second, half a second, millisecond, if you can. Slow it down, enhance it, overlay.
Any noises, because there is audio. anything flicking on in and out of houses, anything in the background that might lead them to a vehicle, a body type, anything like that could be crucial in breaking open this investigation. And as you said, they have 20 minutes of this from two different angles. This really is a trove of information that could possibly change the trajectory of this investigation. And, you know, we at Daily Mail
all right. So I guess what you said, we had Daily Mail. Did it come out on Daily Mail? I guess we'll only have this. I'm going to be looking out to see if this gets released, because this is going to be really interesting to look at if it comes out. They released 20 seconds.
Possibly change the trajectory of this investigation. And, you know, we at Daily Mail posted some photos not too long ago, exclusive photos of the second floor into the house. And I think that does something similar. The purpose of releasing these things are so that not only the investigators, but the people who are from that
it's interesting
area, know that area, been in that house, have been in this park, could look at something and say, that doesn't look right, that piques my interest, and contact investigators. The public's viewing of these things is integral to solving this case.
Well, I mean, I would be looking for headlights that are moving around. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's interesting. Daily Mail and News Nation kind of, I guess, doing somewhat of a collab.
It is not a normal time.
And I actually like Daily Mail. They get a lot of hate, but I love the way they formulate their articles. I think they do a really good job as putting the articles and information together. A lot of times you don't even need to go many other places.
Time for loads of traffic. So any headlights that are moving in a certain direction may have come from a direction where there would be other cameras. I would be, without question, scouring. I'd be blowing up every single inch of that to see if there's a shadowy figure moving in a certain direction. Again, it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
And how are they moving?
Out on the street.
You know, how are they moving?
Exactly.
How are the cars driving? Is it oddly slow? Is it really fast? Are they running? Do they look suspicious? Do they look like they're hiding from something? Are they moving swiftly? Do they discard something? These could all be really important points.
Huge. Not only that, but how about all those lights that are on in the buildings that are surrounding campus? I mean, if you've interviewed somebody already who said I was dead asleep at that time, and then you can zero in on that room and see that the lights are shining bright, you know you need a new re-interview. But that is, it may not look like much, but, you know, the kids in the foreground, they may not mean anything at this point. It might have just been some kids being, you know, college kids. But it's the background that could provide so much. Caitlin Becker, always good to talk to you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching.
Okay, so we'll get back to it. As far as I know, there was somebody in the chat saying it's out. I don't see it anywhere. And I'm sure if it was out, it would be everywhere. Trust me, once it comes out, it's going to be everywhere. We'll only see this little small snippet that's been released. But I am going to keep an eye out for when it does come out. All right, but that's interesting. Thank you so much for giving that context. Michelle, thank you for the super chat. Michelle says, who asked Jack S to watch over the girls? Somebody's BF, Jack S, Jack D, check their phone records. I don't really know. To me, the way I interpret it, and I remember I spoke to Kevin, XAWP, a long time ago about this. We spoke on the phone, and he told me like the vibe that he got was like he's somebody that just kind of followed him after the club. Maybe he was trying to protect it, maybe whatever. And I've seen some women talk about this, that sometimes when women leave the club, I could never imagine doing this shit. Following some chick outside the club. Let me just creep and follow her outside the club. I don't know if that's what this guy was doing, but when I hear some of these stories, I'm like, damn, man, some of these guys have like no, I don't even know what the word is. I just can't imagine following, creeping somebody out. Like, let me just keep an eye on her. Let me just keep following her, see where she goes. You know, unless he thought they were cool. Unless he thought maybe they were cool. They were hanging out at one point, or maybe, I don't know. But the vibe that I got, it seemed like maybe he had followed him after, and he thought he was with them, but he clearly didn't seem interested in him, you know, and they were like ignoring him or something. And what I had heard some girls say is that like sometimes they get followed out the club or a bar or whatever, and the guy just kind of keeps hovering and looking around, and they'll just ignore the guy until the guy hopefully gets the hint. And it seems kind of to me like that's what was going on. And at one point, it does look like there's some sort of exchange. I don't know if it was to Jack S, where it sounded like she said F you. I don't know. That's what we saw in the video. It looked like that. You know, it could have just been this guy was just following these chicks and he didn't do nothing. You know, but, you know, a lot of people are looking at it too as this is kind of suspicious and weird. But no swag game. bro, like have some dignity or something. You know, it's like, damn, these guys really doing that? I don't know. All right.
News Nation reporter Brian Enton is in Idaho covering the investigation.
There's a number of different theories possible. Since her wounds were more significant than Maddie's, is it possible she was the target? Yes. Or is it possible that she woke up and was trying to fight back and that Maddie was the target?
I haven't heard of any video.
Can a retail job be the start of a life?
Here, what do the holidays mean to you in your neighborhood? How would you use that knowledge of action about where you get your pot?
Telling. So it's not just a matter of she had more stab wounds, but where those stab wounds are located could be very telling of this killer.
You know, Stephanie Pagonis joining us, Fox News Digital. I understand all the wounds were in the torso area. Is that correct or no?
You know, I'm not necessarily sure about that. It could be correct. But what I do know is that each of the victims were stabbed several times. Now, as we heard, Mr. Goncalves explained that his daughter did mention that she was significantly injured here. But each of the victims showed signs not only of several stab wounds, but some of them also showed signs of fighting back. The medical examiner also said that investigators believed the victims were asleep when they were initially attacked. It's unclear, though, who woke up and who tried to defend themselves before they were ultimately killed.
To you, Ted Williams joining us, former D.C. police detective, now defense attorney. We were told that the stab wounds were in the torso. But as Cheryl McCollum pointed out, let's just hypothesize, if Kaylee or Maddie's wounds were in the breasts or in any other area that would somehow give a psychological differentiation to their wounds, that would be significant. Do you know anything about that, Ted?
Not a lot. The medical examiner has tried to speak out about where these wounds were.
Hold on, friend. The coroner, she is not a medical doctor. And I was really surprised when she gave that interview right off the bat and started giving all these opinions that I would have thought the police would want to keep close to the vest. Do you remember that, Ted?
I remember it, and it surprised the living hell out of me, and you're absolutely...
Does that Nancy say, woo? Or, oh? It's true that I've heard a couple people going off about the coroner. And I guess, what are the qualifications for a coroner? I guess it's not that much. I don't know.
Really surprised when she gave that interview right off the bat and started giving all these opinions that I would have thought the police would want to keep close to the vest. Do you remember that, Ted?
I remember it, and it surprised the living hell out of me, and you're absolutely right. But the information that was given, and let's just say for the purpose of our discussion here, that Kaylee was the target. That is where investigators would have to start really significantly working backwards. But if they fought, if they did anything, there may be some DNA that they will be able to develop or some physical evidence. If you are stabbing somebody, you have a knife, there's a great deal of blood, and your hand, if you're stabbing somebody, you have the knife in your hand, there's always a possibility that you could slip within the blood. And I hate to sound so gory about this, but you could slip into the blood and you could cut yourself with the knife. We know that this was a large knife that was used. From all indications, it appears as though one knife, that is all we've heard about, that was used on 4 of the victims. And the only thing I hate is this misinformation about it may have been a military knife or this kind of a knife. All we know is that it was a large knife. It could very well been a butcher knife.
Yes, anything that's fixed blade. You're absolutely right. Okay, guys, I hope you're...
It's snapping, Ted, snapping. Thought it was bullshit. It's a knife. We know it's a big knife. All right.
Sitting down. Here he comes. Dale Carson, high-profile lawyer out of Jacksonville. But more importantly, for my purposes, former Fed with the FBI as an agent, former cop, Dale Carson. Okay, Dale, let's have it.
All right, look, from my perspective, there are 2 ways this could have gone down. And I think...
Dale Carson, okay. A high-profile attorney. Oh, Jacksonville. Okay. Former FBI agent, former police officer, Miami-Dade County. Okay.
It's fairly clear from the evidence. Someone either came in on the second floor or someone came in on the first floor. If the timings are not right and the police are not letting go with the information about why they know, how they know, when people returned home. Now, the people on the first floor returned at about 1 a.m. So did they hear people go up the steps to the second floor? Is that how they know what time? And if that's the case...
No. Dale Carson, no. One of the girls was on the phone, wasn't it, at 2:52 a.m.? So we know the murders were after 2:52 a.m. And I can guarantee you, that's a technical legal word, that if they had heard somebody creeping up and down the stairs, they would have done something. They were asleep in their beds when they were attacked. They didn't hear a thing.
Not creeping.
Okay, walking.
People on the second floor could have let someone into the property. And that person could have been in there waiting for the other people to come to the top floor.
Okay, well, there's a unique theory that they let the killer in.
Let the killer in? Oh, by accident, I guess he's saying, or what? I just want to hear that again.
No. Dale Carson.
Home, the floor, or someone came in on...
Dale Carson. Okay, Dale, let's have it.
All right, look, from my perspective, there are two ways this could have gone down. And I think it's fairly clear from the evidence. Someone either came in on the second floor or someone came in on the first floor. If the timings are not right.
And the whole first floor thing, it's possible, but I just have a hard time believing, man. I think it's more than likely the second floor sliding. I mean, I think I forgot, I read somewhere, I had heard something that like a lot of the times people would just go around the side to get in there, you know, maybe even for parties and stuff. I don't know that everybody's just going through the front door.
And the police are not letting go with the information about why they know, how they know, when people returned home. Now, the people on the first floor returned at about 1 a.m. So did they hear people go up the steps to the second floor? Is that how they know what time? And if that's the case...
No. Dale Carson, no. One of the girls was on the phone, wasn't it, at 2:52 a.m.? So we know the murders were after 2:52 a.m. And I can guarantee you, that's a technical legal word, that if they had heard somebody creeping up and down the stairs, they would have done something. They were asleep in their beds when they were attacked. They didn't hear a thing.
Not creeping.
Okay, walking.
People on the second floor could have let someone into the property. And that person could have been in there waiting for the other people to come to the top floor.
Okay, well, there's a unique theory that they let the killer in.
So I guess he's trying to say not knowingly, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I think that's what is that what you guys are taking from it? Maybe he means not knowing the second floor people came in first. Let me see here the super chats real quick. Gypsy, hey, what's up? How you doing? Mel has sent you this year's article on the two Twitter deaths. Article on Twitter about the two deaths, one in 2013 and one 2022, found in the same location. All right, great. So that's going to go good with the articles that I pulled up. An old friend of mine sent me some articles last night. I'm going to add Gypsies when we talk about these deaths. That it's like unrelated, you know, because I guess it was like a drowning, but like the weird shit, you know, like they found the picture. This is the guy, I guess, that passed away, but you can see the house in the background, you know, so that's kind of like eerie. That's the house right there, the sliding glass, the third floor. You know, I guess coincidence, I don't know, but we are going to talk about that. So thank you, Gypsy, for sending me that. We'll talk about it all together. Technical says, read my previous comment about the 20-minute body cam of two officers. It's really hard for me to find through hundreds of comments to find the previous comment. I mean, unless you send a super chat. No, Can you if you could email me or DM me, I'll try to look out for it on Facebook. DM me on Facebook. I think you have my Facebook, right? And I'll see if I can find it.
Guys, we are talking about the possibility that one of these girls was the victim, and according to reports, Kaylee Goncalves had injuries that were different from the other injuries, maybe simply more brutal. Stephanie Begonis, are you getting any sense of how her injuries were different?
Police have even mentioned that that they are not even communicating with the family in the sense that the family is getting information elsewhere.
Yeah, we know about all the family's frustration, and I don't blame them.
And when the father spoke about the whole thing of that he paid for the funeral, that he earned that he didn't leak out the information, I'm kind of curious how you guys took it in the chat, because I kind of took it as almost as if he had gotten that information somehow. The girls, from what I heard, the girls were cremated. Maddie and Kaylee, I believe. I even heard, I never verified this myself, so I'm not sure. I heard that they were put together, or like their urns, their ashes were mixed together or something. I guess because they were best friends and stuff. So I don't know if the father had gotten information from the funeral home, whether he went and saw himself before they did what they did, or they just told him like, hey, this is what we saw. I don't know. I don't know what he meant by that, but I took it as if he was saying it's not information that the cops told him, he didn't leak it out, and that he paid for the funerals and that he earned it himself. But I mean, and then he said that, he sent his girl to school and he got her back in a box. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat about that? Still an autopsy, true. Somebody said not true. So where's he getting that information from then? If he didn't get it from cops, how did you take it? Whoever cremated the bodies told him about the injuries. That's what I was thinking too. I don't know. I think he said he had a PI. So what, the PI went and found out from the funeral people? Stace said, I think he compared death certificates. Are death certificates going to have that information on there? Wouldn't it be the autopsy? Do you think they're giving the autopsies to the families already? How does that work? Parents have to identify the body. Beck said, trust me, they would get the autopsy from the embalmer. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. It's like when we're trying to understand and read between the lines, it leaves it open for interpretation. But I understand too, he can't say certain things, and that's why, that's why everybody's talking about this whole thing now, because we don't really have answers. Mary, thank you for the super chat. Says 100%. I believe he had an independent autopsy of the girls before cremation. Interesting. Maybe that's how he got it.
The family is now convinced they're doing the right thing by hiring a private investigator.
No.
Take a listen to our cut.
And let me ask you this. We're going to listen to what he says, but she's talking about private investigator. I hear this guy saying, no. I don't know if he's talking about, should the family get a private investigator?
118, Steve and Christy Goncalves.
Somebody isn't communicating. There's nothing being released. It seems like they're trying to suppress the story. We want to put rewards out there. Like, don't do that. Yeah, I get it. Your town doesn't want to have reward posters posted all over when you come and you do your rush. You're not going to get a lot of students if they see those things. But this community is not going to heal until this guy's pulled off the streets. It ain't going to happen. Think it through. It's not going to happen. He has to be off the streets. We all are working for the same thing.
And more from Steve Goncalves. Listen.
We know that this is getting 3 weeks in and it's starting to get, we don't want it to go cold. We're reaching out. I reached out to friends down in California today that have connections that we're hoping to raise some money to get a reward, to get a private investigator.
Third party.
Why go the private route? Do y'all worry that at the end of this week, that this case may be
100%.
cold?
We're scared.
When you tell me you don't want a photo up there with the reward offering information, that kind of sounds like you're trying to suppress the story. I mean, why do you not need help? But hey, I could be wrong. And you officers, I apologize if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I want to, please forgive me. Please forgive me. But if you don't have the information, people do know if they don't.
Okay, joining me right now, renowned private investigator Robert Crispin, former.
And let me see the chat real quick. Chat 80% say yes, 20% say no. I mean, if it was me, I probably would. I can't like if it was my daughter, man, and like I'm feeling like they're not giving me much, or like I'm looking at things from the outside and I can kind of look at it more logically. But then if I try to put myself in that position, like hell yeah, especially if there was like a GoFundMe and people are helping out as well. Even though I'm sure the father could probably afford it, but if you're getting support too from the community, I do it. Why not? Who knows? Maybe I've seen these people sometimes pull information more than law enforcement, or they'll. Yo, Melody, you guys in the chat.
Federal task force with the Department of Justice, also with the DEA in Miami. Never lack of business there. Former homicide detective, now founder of Crispin Special Investigations at crispininvestigations.com. Robert, I think I heard Dale Carson moaning in the background, groaning. Don't do it. Don't hire a PI. But if the family is feeling, oh, that was Ted Williams groaning. Okay. If the family feels like they got to.
I thought that was Ted too. I heard like the, oh, you know, like that kind of Ted's voice. Oh, so I was like, yeah, I thought that was Ted too. I was a little confused. Maybe it was Dale, but that's Ted.
Hire a PI. Whose fault is that? They're not getting information from the cops.
So listen, he's not wrong in saying no, no, no. However,
I disagree with both of you.
There's a reason to hire an investigator, and there's a host of reasons not to hire an investigator. The reason the family wants to bring in an investigator is because they're not getting anything from law enforcement. Okay, that's intentional. And you know, Mr. Williams will tell you, as I'll tell you, in a case of this magnitude or during a homicide investigation, you got to shut your mouth. Way too much information has been released on this, the method, the types of injuries, the weapon used. So when they do catch somebody,
a lot of that information came from the coroner, not the family.
It did, and it never should have happened. It never should have happened. But here's a good part about hiring an investigator. Once that crime scene, the right investigator, someone with experience, and I think Mr. Williams will tell you this, once that crime scene has been released and the last law enforcement boot is out the door and it's been turned back over to the owner, the first boots that are going in is a guy like me or a guy like Mr. Williams, because crime scenes talk to you. As soon as you step in the door, that crime scene wants to tell you what happened. And it's going to tell you from the appearance of the crime scene, the damage, what's been cut out by law enforcement. Is there, is the mattress gone? Is there a large section of the carpet gone? Are there holes in the wall?
I sometimes think too that sometimes like the community or just people in general sometimes are more comfortable with talking to somebody that's like a private investigator versus like law enforcement or FBI. I feel like sometimes they can kind of get it, even though the law enforcement, that's their community. But I feel like sometimes, I don't know what it is, like the people just in general feel more comfortable talking to somebody that seems like a regular person. And I feel like the private investigator too, they're probably not hindered by some, I don't know, laws or regulations. They can probably get a little bit more dirty, and I don't know. I would totally do it, but I mean, at the same time, I understand why law enforcement's doing their thing, and I also understand why the dad's frustrated about what's going on, because I was talking to a couple of friends, like, damn, bro, like, is this shit gonna go cold? Like, is this gonna be something that like they don't find out for a long time? Technical, thank you for the super chat. Says Kaylee's dad saw the bodies prior to the autopsies and cremations. The 20-minute videos are from the 2 officers' body cams, a treasure trove of landscape. That's what I'm wondering. Where is that video? I guess it's not out. I haven't seen that it's out. Annie, thank you for the super chat. Says, I would donate to the families to hire PI. Thanks for all you do, Mel. Thank you. And all these live streams, I've been putting the families. I think they've all exceeded their GoFundMe requirements, but it's in the chat if you ever want to look at it or just check it out. One other thing too, I'm just gonna plug this in real quick. If anybody that does YouTube knows, reach out to me, email me. I don't know why I'm getting this weird ass error just sidestepping for a second. I usually stream at 5,500 kbs. It's telling me to do 23. YouTube's saying it's an error. That's weird as shit to me. If I were to stream at this rate, I don't think most people would even be able to watch. It's the first time I've ever seen YouTube tell me that. It's kind of weird. I don't know if there's a glitch on their end or something new. But, yeah.
It tells you how this happened, and systematically, the trained investigator can go through and he can tell you, I think this is how it happened. Did they kill him on the second floor first, or did they kill him on the third floor first? Well, we really don't know that, although everyone's telling us that. But you know what's going to tell us? The crime scene's going to tell us. Because if they killed him on the second floor first, we got bloody footprints going upstairs. If we got bloody footprints coming downstairs, then we know that the top one happened first. So what the point I'm trying to tell you is the crime scene does tell you who did it. You just need to get in there. Now, I'd like to know, what is law enforcement's victim advocate unit to corral these victims and get them in and talk to them?
I don't really like the way you said corral, like they're a bunch of livestock.
Oh, Nancy.
To be herded into a fence.
I mean to get the family in and talk to them and keep them under wraps and explain to them, listen, we want to tell you certain things, but if I tell you this and victims' emotions run away and they're not law enforcement, the emotions will run and they talk. If a specific fact gets out, because when they catch this person, they're going to get a ton more evidence.
Cheryl McCollum joining me. I disagree with both Ted Williams and Robert Crispin because I'm hearing the anger and the frustration and the hurt and the murder victims' families' voices. Every time I hear Steve Goncalves, I wince. And I've been there. I've been the murder victim's family. And when you don't know what's going on, it's terrible. And you were with me, Cheryl. The first thing I would do is find the victim's family. Find them at their home, in their backyard, at their office. I'd wait at their car till they came out. Get them, explain to them what's happening. You don't have to give away all of your evidence. But when they have questions, you need to fill them as best as you can. You don't need them having to go, and I don't fault the victim's family, having to go on national TV to try to get answers. That is not right, Cheryl.
There is no excuse.
It was kind of sad when I heard, we watched it together, Xana's mother, when she was talking to Banfield, and she was like literally like asking her for help. Like, can you help me with this or that, or like these answers to this, you know?
Not communicating. They should talk to these families every single day. That should be the first thing they do when they get to their desk. Here's what I've got today. This is what I'm doing. I will call you with any updates I can give you.
At their desk, Cheryl, when you are dealing with a case like this, you get in your car and you go to them.
Of course.
And see them face to face.
Nancy, you've got a department of only 35 people. They have got over 2,000 tips. They are so out of their league. They need help. So what I'm saying is, if they get to their desk and they're running through their day and their to-do list, the first thing they should do is reach out to that family. Period.
Wait, please. I don't mean to interrupt, but
it's Ted.
I got to. Look, Robert is right. There is a difference between law enforcement establishing a rapport with a family and keeping that rapport and the protection of an investigation. Law enforcement do not, under any circumstance, have to tell a family everything that's going on or most of what's going on.
Nancy, let me jump in.
The family informed. I don't have a problem with
Don't interrupt Ted.
that. But Robert is right. You bring in a private investigator later.
Why can't both of you be right? Why can't we all agree that this family has been unattended? They're not getting the contact with the cops they need, and they're having to go on national TV to try to get answers. There is a medium between meeting with the family and spilling the whole case and not meeting with the family at all.
Nancy, what's going on here is you've got some investigators, and Cheryl is right. They're inexperienced in this kind of investigation. They haven't had a homicide out there for the last 7 years.
I know.
So they are very much inexperienced.
Okay, you know what you're reminding me of, Ted?
Oh, Lord.
You and Crispin, you're reminding me of my husband.
Oh, God, Nancy.
Karen Stark with me, renowned psychologist joining us out in New York. Karen Stark. And
I wonder, I'm going to have to clip this live stream. I'm wondering if they're muting their mics too. I think she got to be muting their mics to cut them off. Is it open mic? They got to be muted after a while. .com.
That's Karen with a C. Karen. David drives like a 95-year-old grandma. Okay. And he'll be going about literally 18 miles an hour. I put him on Waze to see how slowly he's going. I'm like, can you speed up for Pete's sake before my head blows off? He goes, well, I don't want to run down those children. I'm like, isn't there a happy medium? Can you go 30 miles an hour and not run over the children on the sidewalk? Is there a middle ground here? And I think that's what we're saying, Karen. You don't have to open up all of your files to the family in order to give them what they need.
You need to have empathy for the family. It's really essential. I mean, you know what it's like to be a victim. These people need to be in touch. They have to walk I get it. They need to walk a very narrow line, but they have to be able to let them know what's going on. If they are inexperienced, right, then they need to have other people.
Guys, hold on, wait a minute. I'm getting some information right now we've got to address, and it is about a stalker. Go to 123, our friends at KREM, very quickly.
Investigators say they looked into an incident in mid-October, which is where they believe the stalker claims originated, that Kaylee made the friends. Now, according to police, Kaylee was at an unidentified local business. Two men were seen inside attempting to pick up women. One of those men appeared to follow Kaylee out to her car, but did not make any contact with her, according to police. Investigators say both men have been investigated and cleared as suspects.
And also, take a listen to 114, our friends at Fox.
The fact that no one is going to reveal themselves so far as being potentially the person who is going after it means that maybe there was something that went on some time ago. It doesn't mean that it happened that night or a week or two before, but I've seen cases post my FBI experience where it's been 2 years when someone has come back and who had felt disenfranchised or in some way, anyway, dissed and harbored that resentment, harbored that feeling, and then came back and committed killing. So it is possible that this is something that's why it may be more difficult for police to find out who the suspect is. It could be further back in the past and very nuanced and very kind of veiled only in the killer's mind.
So Stephanie Pagon is joining us from Fox News Digital. What can you tell me about an alleged stalker?
Well, so interestingly enough, this is something that Kaylee supposedly even mentioned to her own father, that she felt as though she might have had a stalker, or she made some sort of comments about her feelings that she might have had one. Now, this is something that police have questioned many people about, they say, and up until just yesterday, they had not disclosed any additional details. Just yesterday, police said they think they might have learned what Kaylee was possibly referring to.
Okay, what was it?
The police said in mid-October, two men were seen inside a local business in Moscow. Apparently, one of the men appeared to be following Kaylee inside the business, and after she left that business, the male then stopped following her, and he didn't appear to make any contact with her. But police said that when they did speak to both men, they learned that they were trying to meet women at the business. Police said they were able to corroborate this, and they have not found any evidence to suggest that either of the men was involved in these murders so far.
Okay, question. Do we know what business it was?
I have heard that it was a local grocery store, but unfortunately I don't have more beyond that at this moment.
Okay, how does that factor in, Ted Williams?
Well, it's another lead that you have to follow up on, and
I think they already kind of said this is still like nothing, kind of like they've already... Investigators continue looking into information about Kaylee having a stalker. Information about a potential stalker or unusual circumstances should go through the tip line. And they said that the whole thing with the local business, investigators have identified an incident involving Kaylee at a local business, which may have been the stalker reference she made to friends and family. In mid-October, two males were seen inside a local business. They parted ways, and one male appeared to follow Kaylee inside the business as she exited to walk toward her car. The male turned away, and it did not appear he made any contact with her. Detectives contacted both males and learned that they were just weirdos. No, I'm just kidding. Learned that the two were attempting to meet women at the business. This was corroborated through additional investigation. Based on available information, detectives believe that this was an isolated incident and is not an ongoing pattern of stalking. No evidence suggests the two males were involved in the murders. But they said if you have any information about supposed, stalking, send it into the tip line.
Have to rule out. It's interesting about this stalking. I've always believed that it is not part of this investigation, but it's leads. Every lead has to be followed up on. And this is just another lead that was followed up on, the stalking lead, and it appears to be going nowhere. But again, Nancy, what I want to say, and I think our guests understand, we've got a lot of inexperienced individuals in this investigation. I know the FBI is involved. I know that the Idaho State Police is involved. But we have a lot of inexperienced people running this investigation, and that is very concerning to me.
Well, what about the idea of the stalker, Cheryl McCollum? Because it keeps coming up.
It keeps coming up, and here's where it's got some legs for me. Her dad believes it. She stated it to more than one person, and she was only there to show her new friend her car. I mean, her...
And I see some conversation about this, too. About what... Kaylee and was she supposed to be there? Was she living there? Was she not living there? Whatever. I've heard so many different interpretations, so I almost even lost myself in this, what really was. But I believe she was staying with her parents at the time, but that she came back there to show the car, and I guess she stayed the night.
Idea of the stalker, Cheryl McCollum, because it keeps coming up.
It keeps coming up, and here's where it's got...
I don't know if she was just there for the holidays at her families, but...
Got some legs for me. Her dad...
State police is involved, but we have a lot of inexperienced people running this investigation, and that is very concerning to me.
Well, what about the idea of the stalker, Cheryl McCollum? Because it keeps coming up.
It keeps coming up, and here's where it's got some legs for me. Her dad believes it. She stated it to more than one person, and she was only there to show her new friend her car. I mean, her friend her new car. She wasn't supposed to be there. And this person that murdered these 4 people took an extra step to go up.
Because I think even the sister had said that, like, Kaylee was with them, right? Like, and for the holidays and all this stuff, too. She was staying at home, right. Because I've seen people kind of still getting confused about that. She was staying at home, but that weekend or the day, I guess it was the weekend, she had gone there just to, I guess, show the car. Jessica says she planned to go back Tuesday. Okay.
Stairs. He didn't go to the basement. So it looks to me like everything is pointing to Kaylee being the target. And if she made that statement and she sold her other car and put on there that she was moving across the country, she gave some information out. So if somebody wanted to stop her from leaving, they could do just that.
Can a retailer... Have you ever wondered if you're at an action on what we scholarships to customize crime stories with Nancy Grace?
Straight out to Cheryl McCollum, Cole.
Let me ask you guys real quick about this clip in case you missed it. Oh, 2 things real quick. We kind of looked at this a little bit earlier. There was the video that we watched. We could watch it again. But it says here, Brian Enton, flag at half staff at Sigma Chi fraternity in Moscow, Idaho. Fraternity president told me that they don't have surveillance cameras, which, like, wow, really? And told police everything they know about Xana and Ethan being at the house before the murders. They don't got cameras. Amazing. The other thing, too, real quick, is, I don't know, did you see the FBI profiler the other day? We talked about it on live stream, but I also clipped it on my Twitter. And some people felt some type of way about that. As a dad, and like, again, I understand, like, I couldn't imagine as a dad and like being frustrated if you feel things are going cold.
This individual,
Jonathan Gillum, FBI agent. Oh, well, he was a thing.
Stephen Gonzalez. He's doing an interview. It seems like every 4 to 8 hours And many of these different news agencies are putting what he has to say all over the airwaves. And they're not looking at the totality of the things that this guy says. He himself, not law enforcement, he says conflicting things constantly. And he says things that are very odd over and over again. I've worked a lot of different cases. I spoke to a lot of different law enforcement. In fact, one police officer who was a mayor of a town in Springfield and a 20-year police officer reached out to me yesterday and said he's never seen anyone that seemed like they have committed a homicide more than Mr. Goncalves.
Bruh, when he said that, I was like, holy ish. But like, you know, I have conspiracy theory friends and stuff sometimes, you know, and a friend of mine had called me. He said something similar, and I kind of rolled my eyes. And so then when I'm sitting there watching it, I think I was watching this with you guys live the other day. I was like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't believe it. You know, but
Now that's something when we're looking at his statements that he is consistently making to the media.
Wow. That's crazy to I don't know.
And the media is overlooking the fact that he is saying things, and I have some of the things that he.
And that's what my friend told me. I was talking to a buddy. He was like, "But how does he know that? But how did you know that? Was he there?"
He says right here. He says that that nobody in the room, that it was fast and nobody suffered. Right.
Yeah. Yo, I literally had a conversation with Silvio about that. Literally, I'm gonna send him. He was literally like, because Silvio was like telling me like, how would he know that? Like, how would he know something like that?
How would he know that? On there.
So the thing is like, I don't know, man. I get it. Like, having private conversation, but then it's another thing too on the news, on air, and the thing is, you know, people disagree and agree about how the way he's going, whether it hurts the case, whether it doesn't hurt the case, and what would you do if you were in that position. But to point the finger, kind of, you know, or allude to the father that had his daughter murdered, I was like, damn, that's pretty, you know, kind of messed up.
He's also said that he's just going to say it. This is a quote from Kaylee's dad. I'm just going to say it. It was leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral. I sent my daughter to college. She came back in a box. He went to when they had their service for all the four slain and made jokes and talked about the lighting. I mean, this individual is bothering me and many people very much. And
I've heard comments just about, you know, the information that he's putting out, but I haven't really heard people pointing and implying this guy, you know, the father. I mean, the lighting thing, when I saw that, I mean, it's a tense thing, nervous. I mean, I don't know. I didn't take it like that. I think even the other parents had made some type of like to try to lighten the mood type of thing.
At the very least, he is causing law enforcement more problems, I think, than anything else.
And I've had this conversation with friends too. I definitely don't think cops are happy with him, for sure. Like, they're probably, and I think that's why that police release came out today.
Mr. Goncalves, he continues to push out their details about this crime that nobody really knows about, that there was different types of attacks and ferocity amongst the different victims. The only person that said that is this same individual. And the way that he talks about how his daughter and the other girl that was with her were sleeping in the same bed, that information was not released until he said it.
So that was just like a highlight from the other day. A lot of people were pissed off about that. It was pretty interesting to see. But then there was people that like agreed too. Not many, but there was, you know. All right, let me continue this here.
Case Research Institute, jump in, Cheryl.
One thing I haven't heard anybody mention is whether or not the killer took souvenirs or a souvenir. Mm-hmm. And the sad thing is, when you're doing a victimology, the person that could best help law enforcement here was also murdered. And that's each other's best friend. Getting back to the PI, here's the reason a PI might be really good in this case. Locating witnesses. Sometimes people will speak to a civilian when they will not speak to law enforcement.
That's what I said.
Locating video and searching social media. A 35-member department cannot tackle a quadruple homicide by themselves.
You know, I've got some of my guests talking out of both sides of their mouth because they're saying don't hire a PI and they're saying there's not enough cops. And I want to follow up what Cheryl McCollum just said. Cheryl, you remember that big arson murder I tried right before I left the DA's office to go to Court TV?
Oh, yes.
That case was overwhelming. And then I found an incredible resource. It was the insurance company's private investigator. Correct. That guy had worked this case just as hard as the arson investigators. And he had a wealth of information that my investigators didn't have. Not because they were flat-footed or stupid or lazy. He just had additional resources they didn't have. And I got a treasure trove of information from that arson private investigator for the insurance company. So I say take all the info you can get. I hear somebody jumping in. Is it Dale or Ted?
You don't want the private investigators to interfere with an already very, very complex case. That's the problem. And when you only have 35 members on a department, you can't devote an individual detective or officer to each of the families.
I didn't ask for that.
But what we're saying here is, look, right now we don't have any big suspect. None. So that means that it could be someone close to the family. We don't know the answer to those questions.
And your point is?
Well, it's simply, you got to wait until the detectives who do have access to all of the information have an opportunity to analyze it.
Well, you know what, Dale Carson? You can sit up in your ivory tower at your penthouse suite you've got there meeting clients in your leather chair, blah, blah, blah.
No.
But these families are suffering, and unless the police speak to them and handle them with kid gloves and feed them enough information that they understand this case is on track, you're going to have them hiring PIs.
Yeah, she said you could be sitting up there in your penthouse, your ivory tower. Wow. I mean, I don't know. Look, trying to put myself, which I can't, but I could try. Like, imagine, I would do everything I could. And if whether that's hiring a PI or whatever, I probably would. You know what I'm saying? I can, especially if I had the funds and stuff, you know?
And spouting information on the airwaves because they don't know what else to do. They got their backs in a corner.
No, I understand the frustration of the families, but the families are not running a criminal investigation.
I didn't say they were.
They're not the victims. You got the victims. The victims are dead. The victims are dead. And in order to get justice for them, everybody needs to quiet down and let the police do whatever they do. And to interfere with that is just insanity.
Okay.
Bill is right, though, Nancy. You cannot, but you got, look, there are two aspects of this case. There is to catch the killer or killers, and the second aspect is the successful prosecution of the killer or killers. And what a private investigator at this stage could interfere with that process. And also think about it. The private investigator is not going to have access to the evidence. The police are not going to be talking and giving the private investigator information.
Yeah.
I do agree with everyone here that the family needs to be kept in the loop as best you can.
Well, that is not happening. Okay, everybody pipe down. Karen Stark wants in. Karen, it better be profound. Go.
It doesn't make any sense. This is a mixed message.
That's a lot of pressure. It better be profound or we're cutting your ass off.
They're inexperienced. They don't know what they're doing, and yet we shouldn't have more people in trying to help them out.
Amen, sister.
That doesn't make any sense.
Wait a minute, you got the Idaho, you have the Idaho State Police involved. You got the FBI involved.
I know, so I don't know why you're screaming there's not enough cops. So there are enough cops.
What is a private investigator going to do?
I do not know. We'll let him figure that out because like I just told you.
Exactly
and please, help me out here, man. Throw me a bone.
I can tell you exactly what a private investigator is going to do at this stage. He's going to jeopardize the entire investigation.
Oh, dear Lord in heaven.
Everything that law enforcement has done. Because Nancy, tell you,
but there's
one thing a private investigator, and Ron will tell you, you get one shot at these interviews, one shot.
And yeah, but there is something a private investigator can do. There is something that they can do.
What?
And that's to create the nexus between law enforcement and the family. They can demonstrate to the family, here's the things that they are doing, and they don't even have to have the information. We as old private investigators know certain things are going to transpire, and if you communicate that to the family, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay,
Jackie,
then I won't
hate to do this, but I'm going to have to cut everybody's mic.
Oh, Nancy.
Cheryl McCollum, I just want to point out that on all the cases I prosecuted, I never had someone victim's family, hire a private investigator.
Absolutely not.
And you know why? Because they were with me lockstep every bit of the way. And no, I did not give them the whole file. And that thought never even occurred to me to give them the whole file or to tell them everything. But if they had asked me, I would have tried to tell them without jeopardizing the investigation.
Or you would simply explain why I can't tell you.
Exactly.
That's easily explained. But I'll tell you something, Nancy. Again, you are talking about a small department and they are over their head. But I want to point out one more thing, not just private investigators, but law enforcement use CIs all the time. They use civilians. And the problem when you bring in the state
confidential informants is what she's saying.
And here's the thing. When you bring in the state police to a place like Moscow, they don't work that area. If this guy's in plain sight, which I believe he is, I believe he's a local, I believe he's right there, they don't know the rhythm of that community.
Hey, Cheryl, yes. Can you open up everybody's mic? This is important, guys. Number one, the family says that cops are clearing people too quickly. Let's hear cut 105. This is Kelly's dad at Fox News.
Alibis. Just share the alibi. If you're not sharing an alibi, to me, it tells me that you're not 100% confident that it's going to stick, or you have somebody who's going to come forward and say, hey, I don't know what he told you or that person's alibi was. But
and let me ask you that real quick, too, because they're bringing up a lot of conversations. Should police be sharing the alibis to the families? I mean, I almost think it's obvious, but maybe it's not obvious. And let's see here. Magical Chaos, thank you for the 14-month membership. Say, hey, if she wasn't living at the house, makes sense why she would sleep in the same bed as her friend. Excuse me. No furniture in her old room, so stalker, question mark. Debutan, thank you for the super chat, says PI to run text searches and footwork, but not all reigns, because he definitely can cause a mistrial for fam that wants info, but they need justice, not mistrial. Oh, Lord, excuse me. Thank you.
Victim's family, hire a private investigator.
Absolutely not.
And you know why? Because they were with me lockstep every bit of the way. And no, I did not give them the whole file. And that thought never even occurred to me to give them the whole file or to tell them everything. But if they had asked me, I would have tried to tell them without jeopardizing the investigation.
Or you would simply explain why I can't.
Oh, I lost it.
We all know. Provide.
Please, help me out here, man. Throw me a bone.
I can tell you exactly what a private investigator is going to do at this.
Okay.
We're going to have them hiring PIs. And please, help me out here, man. Throw me a bone.
I can tell you exactly what a private investigator is going to do at this stage.
No, it's not.
He's going to jeopardize the entire investigation.
Oh, dear Lord in heaven.
Everything that law enforcement has done. Because Nancy, tell you.
Let me see something real quick. I wanted to hear what they were going to say.
We all know.
See them face to face.
Essential. I mean, you know what it's like to be a victim.
Which is where they believe the stalker claims.
Guys are in touch. They need.
Kaylee made
time ago. It's
very concerning to me.
Well, what about the idea of the stalker, Cheryl McCollum? Because it
their health.
Their backs in a corner.
No, I understand the frustration of the families, but the families are not running a criminal investigation.
Please, help me out here, man. Throw me a bone.
We all know.
I don't think I can play the end part without it. It would have to play through without me touching it. If you pause it or whatever, then it stops it seems like.
LGBTQ+.
Let me see something real quick. I wonder if, actually, let me check something else out. I think I can find the audio. Well, actually, I don't know if it's the full thing, though. One second, because I wanted to hear that last part. Let me see. Is this the full? Oh no, this is only 43 minutes.
Really good in this case.
By Gilead.
Investigator.
Correct.
That guy speak to them and
I can't get the rest of it. I guess if you pause it or whatever, because it looks like it extends further, but then it stops it. So I guess that's it for that. If I can somehow extract it next time, maybe I'll put it in a different video. Then I wouldn't be able to pause it. Oh, it's preview. Maybe if I listen to on Apple Podcast.
You got the FBI involved.
I know, so I don't know why you're screaming there's not enough cops. So there are enough cops.
What is a private investigator going to do?
All right, I'll see if I can.
We all know holidays are coming up.
I'll see if I can install it. I don't know if I get this iTunes crap. Maybe if I'm on iTunes, I can listen to the rest of it. All right. So in the meantime, I'll try to figure out what's going on. Preparing to removing previous installation. Let's talk about this. See, I was sent this article, and Moscow police announced cause of death for University of Idaho student from Boise. This was May 4th, 2022. And I've seen some people talking about this. The Moscow Police Department has ruled the death of a 19-year-old University of Idaho student accidental. And the guy's name was Hudson Lindo, 19, of Boise. He was found at 11:28 a.m. Sunday in Paradise Creek near College Avenue. According to a news release from police, Lindo's cause of death was labeled an accidental drowning. Anthony Dallinger told the Idaho Statesman Police. Dallinger said the toxicology report is pending, but will take 2 weeks. Lindo was a first-year student at the university. Told the Statesman via email he was majoring in environmental science with College of Natural Resources. Hudson was a source of positivity for those that knew him, and his passing weighs heavy on the members of the Vandal community. I've heard that a lot, the Vandal community. In 2013, another first-year student was found dead. What's going on at this Paradise Creek? Another first-year student was found dead in Paradise Creek. The Lewiston Tribune reported that student had a blood alcohol level of 0.17, had attended the fraternity party, and walked nearly 7 miles before falling into the creek. I guess it must be a deep creek. So there were 2 drownings over there. Let's see. She sent me. Oh, I got this little video clip too.
And welcome to the Sunday News at 10. I'm Doug Petcash. We start with a tragic story out of North Idaho. The Moscow Police Department says officers found the body of a young Boise man this morning. The body of 19-year-old Hudson Lindo of Boise was found in Paradise Creek near College Avenue in Moscow this morning.
Okay. Let's see.
Morning. The Moscow Police Department says they responded to reports of a body in the creek around 11:30 this morning. The investigation is ongoing, but police say foul play is not suspected.
No foul play suspected. And so people kept saying something like that. They said that there's no murders, but there's these, but this is considered accidental, so it wouldn't be considered homicide. These are ruled accidental deaths. Paradise Creek. The weird thing again, one of the people that I was showing this earlier, the screenshot sleuthing truth virtual Nikki. I have questions. Moscow Ellie has been running with this whole nothing like this has ever happened here narrative, which a quadruple homicide seems like it's something that hasn't happened there ever. So does anyone care to explain the university student Hudson who was found dead in Paradise Creek? You read that right. Another student died earlier this year. Context, 4/30/2022, the night before. Oh, stuff's popping up. Context, on 4/30/2022, the night before, Delta Tide Delta held its 90th annual ball. Xana, Maddie, Jake, and JS were all in attendance. Interesting. Hudson's body was found the next morning in the creek right outside Greek Row. Hudson's death was ruled an accidental drowning. Could literally mean nothing, but also here's a picture of Hudson outside of the girl's house and a map to see where his body was found in relation to the frats/sororities. One of Hudson's friends blurred out the photo is Delta Tide Delta's president, the same frat JS was supposedly kicked out of. And so that's the picture. I've seen this picture. Somebody sent me this picture on text last night too. And so, I don't know if there's anything there, but it is interesting, kind of eerie. I guess they were friends or something. You see the house right there in the background, the sliding door and the third level and stuff. Yeah, I got this earlier. Try this again. See if this works. Oh, I got the Nancy stuff. It's only 43 minutes on here, though. See, how does this work?
We all know holidays are coming up. That usually means...
Oh, you don't even get it. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm not going to mess with this now.
Out and in to each individual person.
There's like a pain in the ass. It's not really functioning right. All right. This was earlier. I'm going to check my email too. Somebody said check my email. To close all this stuff out. Sigma Chi.
Hey everybody, so they've started, the police are out here, they've started removing some of the personal items that were belonging to the victims. We saw the police chief was out here. You'll see a picture I tweeted a little while ago.
Let me read this to you guys real quick. I found this article. I sometimes like to read these independent articles. Sometimes they're good sources because they'll keep updating. It's one of my things I like to do sometimes when I'm streaming. I have one of these articles, or if I'm doing a trial, because they'll keep just posting like updates and stuff. And so one of the things here says Moscow Police Chief James Fry said on Tuesday, which today's Wednesday, that individuals cleared out as suspects in the brutal murders of the 4 University of Idaho students may be re-interviewed. Mr. Fry told Fox News, I wonder if they linked to the video. Ooh, we can watch that too. Yes. On Tuesday that the police in question could still be back. Told Fox News on Tuesday that the people in question could still be called back in to speak with police if the evidence leads law enforcement back to them. We always have the option of re-interviewing them, he said. We've actually re-interviewed people 2 or 3 times because we'll get tips or we'll get information that we need to verify again. And sometimes we need to ask those same questions just a little bit different to ensure we're getting the proper information to continue on with this investigation. To date, investigators have ruled out the 2 surviving roommates who were left unharmed and appear to have slept through the murders. Other friends who were in the home when 911 was called and was made alerting police to the murders. Goncalves' former long-term boyfriend, which is Jack D., a man seen on camera with Mogen and Goncalves at the food truck on the night of November 12th, and a person who gave them a ride in that private vehicle, and the 6 roommate or 6 person listed on the lease, I should say. Let me take a look at this. So, if this is something else. Lord Almighty.
This story very close. All right, we're covering this story very closely, and breaking moments ago, brand new information from the police chief who sat down with Fox to talk about this case, the killing of these 4 young, beautiful students at the University of Idaho who were stabbed to death in their beds in their off-campus home more than 3 weeks ago.
This case is not going cold. We have tips coming in. We have investigators out every day interviewing people. We're still reviewing evidence. We're still looking at all aspects of this. And I said early on that no stone will go unturned. And I mean that. We are going to continue. This case is not going cold.
Well, we know these families want some resolution. They want this person found and convicted. Correspondent Alexis McAdams reporting live from Moscow, Idaho. Tell us, Alexis, what you learned when you sat down with the chief.
Hi, Martha. Well, first off, I mean, this was pretty much one of the first times we've been able to see the chief getting pretty emotional about this case. He went to this university. He's lived in this community for years. He has a family of his own, and he was breaking down through tears, telling me this case is personal for him, working around the clock to find the killer. Listen.
I'm a dad with daughters, and that's tough. You don't. We're human. We don't go to these and just turn it off. It affects us, but we have a job to do, and we're going to continue to do that job. We're going to continue to push forward.
It's been nearly 1 month since these innocent college kids murdered here in Moscow, Idaho, in that off-campus house that still is surrounded by crime tape, Martha. Investigators tell me they're interviewing people every single day, looking for information that helps them piece this together and really trying to figure out the timeline of the night when these students were murdered. Now we're learning more about people and theories that investigators are ruling out for now. Police tell me they did interview 2 guys in connection to a tip that Kaylee Goncalves had a stalker in town. This stemmed from an incident back in October when Kaylee told some of her friends that a guy was following her around a local business and it creeped her out enough that she told her friends. Police don't believe those people are connected to the murders. Now, another update involving Kaylee's dog, which you can see here in this TikTok video that she posted a while back. Investigators say her dog was in the house at the time of the murders, but had no evidence on it, so they don't believe, Martha, it was in any of the rooms when the crime was committed. Back out here live in front of the police department. Once again, that chief breaking down, wanting the community and most importantly, Martha, wanting the families like Kaylee's dad to know they're doing everything they can to find the killer. And they say just because they're not releasing so much information doesn't mean they don't have it.
Yeah. Just a quick question. Did you get a sense from him that they know things that they are not allowed to share at this point? I mean, what's your sense of how, do they seem to be lost at this point for ideas or really honing in on something?
Yeah, great question. And actually, from what we've been able to gather from the police here on the ground is that they've got a pretty good timeline and they've got a pretty good amount of information. They say if they didn't have information, that's when they would go to the public and say some of these little bits and pieces more about who they think this person is, what this person might have, if they left on foot, if this person even is a man or woman, little things that we asked if they could confirm. They said not right now because we're on the right track. We've got a lot of evidence and we feel good about the direction this case is heading.
Yeah. We know that Kaylee's mom said that she was afraid that the killer would show up at the memorial service and that they needed to pay more attention to some of the people that were dismissed and cleared. And I know we saw that soundbite a moment ago. He said nobody is cleared forever, right?
Exactly, yeah. Just because they're talking to these people who are coming in even to the police department by day when we're here, these college students, they're saying that just because they talk to them doesn't mean they're not going to re-interview them, Martha.
Alexis, great work. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let me see here. A couple of things. There is maybe 2 more things. There is a video that I want to premiere for you guys after this too. I want to forget that. And I can't believe we've already almost been here 2 hours. I was going to say calls, but we've already been here kind of longer than we needed. So we'll do calls another time. Denise sent me this clip because I don't want to have to feel rushed.
At this particular stage, as we approach now a month with a killer still on the loose. Thomas, why don't we start with you?
All right, thanks, JB. I think
this video just came out like 2 hours ago. I'm just gonna skim. I'll play a certain couple portions, and then I'll put the link to the whole thing.
Impression initially and now is
in the
that,
description.
and Peter can speak more of this in a moment. The traditional forensics, there may not be the smoking gun at the scene, and that's why it's taken a while. But the digital forensics will hopefully lead to potential clues that can lead to a suspect and hopefully an arrest.
Peter, you've been following the case, I'm sure to an extent. What can you provide as far as what you've been witnessing here from the University of South Florida?
Well, two things. One is obviously, we care about the families. We understand the trauma that they're going through. But from the forensic side, what we need to understand is it takes time to run these examinations at the laboratory. There are other crimes or other cases that are coming in, so we still have to deal with that as far as the laboratory goes. So in time, we're going to get some answers, but it is going to take some time.
I'm very grateful to have you both because, again, going back to what I was just talking about, ideally, in a perfect world, a witness comes forward, sees something, a friend, a family member, somebody has some key piece of information that breaks the case. But if it doesn't shake out that way, as so many other cases do, if it actually does come down to the evidence, it could be physical evidence, which, of course, Peter, you are an expert in as far as crime scene and crime scene reconstruction. Thomas, you're going to be able to speak to us a little bit about digital evidence. And in addition, that body camera video that I'm going to ask you about here in a minute from the 911 call that came overnight. But I want to bring up some video here. This is video from the, you're about to see it play here on your screen, from the crime labs in Idaho, the state crime labs. 113 pieces of evidence have been collected, or I believe more than 113 pieces of evidence now. When it comes to Peter processing what has been described at great length as a very complex and difficult crime scene, you're talking about a 3-level residence, not just a residence that is home to, of course, the people that live there, but as far as Ethan Chapin's relationship, him being the boyfriend, of course, of one of the students as well. And then, of course, it's a college residence. You have people coming and going, people coming over either to study or to party, have a good time, to play video games, whatever it might be. A lot of traffic coming in there. So in your estimation, how complex of a crime scene do you believe this to be?
Oh, this is going to be amazing. The amount of work that needs to be done by the law enforcement community in this case is overwhelming. You have at least 3 separate crime scenes that need to be processed, if not the vehicles, anything else that came out of there. So it's going to take a long time to finish.
As expecting results sooner than physical evidence, or is that incorrect to think that way?
It's incorrect to think that way, JB. You can get some quick, immediate results on some minor things. So if you had the device, like a cell phone, you can look at the email, the text, the social media post. But to look at it in a bigger picture, it's going to take months. The same as what Peter said.
Take months. Wow.
For physical evidence. And a lot of that comes down to, if you think about the digital footprint, was a term we teach. Everything you do online, you're leaving breadcrumbs. Potential evidence. We have to collect all that and put it together. Well, to collect that, you have to get court orders, subpoenas, search warrants to multiple entities, to the ISPs, to the email providers, to the cell phone providers. Get the court order, send the court order, get the return back from the company, and then analyze it.
I really wanted to hear what he was going to say about the body cam stuff.
Stored in the servers, and you have data, and not even had it yet. And then email.
Without question, the most high-profile murder investigation in the country right now. If you are a cellular provider with particular data on the cell phone and ping locations, if you have forensic data on an email, or if you're a social media giant like TikTok or Facebook or Twitter and you have this information, do investigators have an ability to expedite the process to get some of that data back faster from some of these private companies that aren't in the public sector, like getting back data from, let's say, TikTok or Twitter or something to that effect? How can they speed up the process, or can they not?
Well, you can ask and hope that they'll, because it's such a high-profile case, that they'll get it to you sooner, but you can't make that, right? I mean, the law is clear. They respond in their time frame. But usually they're pretty good about it. Something this high-profile, they're going to turn it around quickly for you, and, move it to the front of the line. The problem is you identify one of the suspects' emails, you request that information, you get that back, and then you go through those emails. And when you go through those emails, you say you identify 6 other email addresses of other individuals. So wait, we got to collect these 2 because these are unknown or there's some potential clues in there. Now you got to send 6 more search warrants to their email providers and collect their data, and it just keeps, Yeah,
that's a good point. It just keep going on and on and on.
Screen. Before we start to go to some of the comments, we have a few on Twitter here coming in as well. Peter, I want to ask you about one particular note that I find very interesting. No broken windows at the residence, no signs of forced entry or busted door. What does that inform you as a crime scene expert, a crime scene reconstruction expert, about what transpired the night of November 12th and November 13th at this residence in Idaho?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is, having been to college, we rocked our doors. We didn't leave our doors unlocked. So there was access 24/7 back in the day. I tend to think that, again, college kids live that way as well. They don't lock things up. And you're in Moscow, Idaho. You're not in some high.
Yeah, I mean, this is all stuff we've kind of talked about.
Well, at video, I think you're going to see here in just a moment of brown bags being taken. I think just
surprising that. So
immediately, Peter, do you have any ideas as to why the cars were left? I mean, it might not be a primary focus of the investigation, at least in the immediate aftermath of the bodies being discovered in the house. But do you have any answer as to why it was so late as far as them removing it from the property?
Yeah, I think go along with exactly what you said. That's not the primary scene. The primary scenes were inside, so there's really no rush to pull those vehicles out. And I don't know whether they did some investigating inside before that looks like the snow came. They did anything at the scene, or if everything was towed out and investigated, at an impound lot or a secure facility. But
all right, I think that's kind of it.
You can block out the noises you say from, say, third parties on Twitter, but the problem where you get pressure as an investigator is from
the agency that you
play here, and I'm talking about, of course, the victims, starting with the victims' families, and they
lab is an accredited lab, so they need all of the qualifications.
I didn't really hear them talk about the video. I didn't think he even asked them. All right, I think what I'm gonna do is let me just make sure I didn't get any super chats. I have a new video to show you guys. It's about 30 minutes long. I'm gonna premiere it. Read your email titled Idaho 4. Which email did you send that to? Let's see. Must be Idaho 4. So this is somebody's theory. Okay, thank you for the super chat. It says, my theory may be off the wall, but here it goes. Maddie was a target. Killer planned to go to the house and essay Maddie, but Kaylee woke up. Kaylee was attacked first. Her cries woke up Maddie. Killer got enraged because Kaylee was there and woke up Maddie. Now he has to go kill the woman he loves. Xana heard a noise, told Ethan. He told her K and M were drunk and being dumb. Xana didn't believe them, so she started up the stairs to check on Ethan. She started up the stairs to check, followed by Ethan. They met the killer coming down the stairs. They run back to the room, and the killer's behind them. I would think that there would be so much noise, though, but it's possible. I know it's out of left field, but it's a theory. Okay, well, thanks. I appreciate you the super chat on the email. Missy says maybe they won't share alibis because they cleared a guy, but they're faking him until they get more solid evidence. Possible. 63% say they should share the alibi. 37% say no. No. Athena, thank you for the super chat, says Peeping Tom arrested today. Really? In the early morning hours near the house. Peeping Tom. I wonder if that came up in the log for the police log. I forgot where that thing is at. Police log. I don't know where the log is at. I know I had it saved somewhere. Let's see. Idaho. Police log. I don't know. I'll have to look into it later. That's interesting if that's true, though. It seems like they got a lot of weird people in the town. That's what people get offended. I've gotten some emails when I say that. It's kind of a weirdo town. How dare you? You don't know the town. How dare you say that? Weirdos out there. So, okay, I want to play this video, and then I'm going to premiere the new one. This has to do with the story that I covered yesterday with Nancy Grace and Charlie, this boy that was reported missing and in 2014. And 11 days later, this boy's found in the father's basement. And when he was found, it's on Discord, iCkEdMeL. Lord. What's on Discord? Can you DM me the stuff or the call log or something? Okay, let me play. Okay, hold on. They're saying this is where the body cam footage is. Let me play this. This is part of it at the beginning. Let's play it.
The camera video that you just showed, having been here, I mean, that is so eerie to see. I mean, I get that that incident police say has nothing to do with the murders, but standing where I'm standing, like I'm just looking half a block from where I am, exactly where this video is. I know exactly what those buildings are. They're right here. And to think that the police were so close to this house, and I know it's really likely just coincidence, and they were far enough away that maybe they couldn't hear anything, but I mean, they were so close around the time that these murders were happening. The fact that that is on video, I mean, I just can't believe it. But back to the fraternity house, Sigma Chi, it is today for the first time, the president spoke with us. We'd been to the house before, and you know, either people weren't opening the door.
Tom. All right, it was in the Discord chat, but I miss a lot of stuff. I have so many screens, so thank you, BL, for sending it directly. Yeah, and if you guys see important things, if you could just send it to me directly, because I get you wouldn't believe how many messages, how many notifications, and a lot of times I look away from Discord. When I look back, it's like a bunch of messages, you know. So thank you for that. Who this? This is a peeping Tom. Oh Lord! Oh no! Who is the peeping Tom in the town? Peeping Tom with a prior murder conviction. Man, prove me wrong that there's some weirdos in that town. It seems like I don't know what kind of peeping Tom with a prior murder conviction arrested at 1 a.m. a mile-ish from the murder scene. He has a large bandage on his left arm. Oh, no social media I could find. Leonard James Curtis. Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh. Oh, boy. Yeah, what's up with that? What's wrong with your arm there, buddy? Mm-hmm. Peeping Tom, huh? Oh, boy. They're coming for him next. Woo! Oh, no. No, 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 no. Is this the guy? Is this the peeping Tom? But what are these charges? Why are all these other charges there? Let me save this image. I'm confused. So this was all 12/7/2022. Battery, domestic violence with traumatic injury, aggravated assault, strangulation, children injury to child. What? Yeah. Oh my God. So I'm being told he was, that's why I got to look up this stuff myself. But it's there. I'm being told he wasn't arrested for being a peeping Tom. Okay, but they're just saying he's a peeping Tom. but he was arrested for these other charges that I'm showing. I guess that's what it is. I'm going to have to look him up myself and double check and verify everything. I mean, I could just do it right now. Why not? Why not? Let's see if I can pull it up. Okay, thank you, Natty, for the clarification in the chat. Super chat. Natty says, peeping Tom with a previous murder charge and a bandage on his arm has literally been arrested. He lives very close to the house. Ooh. I'm going to see if I can pull him up. Let me see if I can pull his name up. Lord almighty. Lord. Whoa, who is this? Ooh. It's going to have a rough couple of days now. Okay, I think I pulled him up. 39 years old, if this is the guy. Does live in Moscow. Let me see how far the house is. The house that I have on record. Oh shit. Well, he's it's about the house that I have on record from his house. If that's his house, I don't know if it's house or not. The address that I have listed for him is 1.2 miles away. It's a 26-minute walk. You know, not to say he has anything to do with anything, but it's interesting. It is interesting. It is interesting. Let me see what else. His record is probably not going to pull up right now if this was today on this website. Yeah, it's not pulling up. All right. Well, it's something to look into. I'm going to have to look into it further. Oh, boy. They're going to be looking into this guy for sure. Ooh. Oh, yeah. That. Oh, God. So, actually, now you guys mention it, let me see here. Oh, he has a Facebook, too. Let me see if I get his Facebook. Oh, that LinkedIn is down. His the Facebook's not working either. I wonder if he took his Facebook down. I don't know. The links that I have for Facebook, they're not active anymore. Leslie, thank you for the super chat. Says, I wonder if he did any work at the victim's house. When did this break? Today? Can I is it possible to he was arrested yesterday, they said? me look in the Facebook groups real quick to see what they're saying. Gotta be talking about it over there. Here it is. All right, let's see what Facebook. Let's see what Facebook's saying. Ooh. Peeping Tom with prior murder charge and conviction arrested at 1 a.m. a milers from the murder scene. He has a large bandage on his left arm. No social media I could find. A user sent me his charges from last night. They are domestic violence with traumatic injury, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or instrument, strangulation attempted, and injury to a child. Trying to confirm if peeping was involved. His wife did not deny he was peeping as well. Wow. He lives 2.5 miles away from the murder scene. Edit 3, a second property trailer 1.5 miles away from the crime scene. Very interesting. The address that I have is 1.2 miles. Law enforcement has not ever stated DNA was found at the scene. That was a rumor. A user sent me the social media of him and his wife, and I have been able to confirm he is a hunter who owns knives. I'm getting bombarded with info about this guy. Thank you, everyone, for your incredible sleuthing. Do my best to keep up. Here he is. Ooh. Oh, boy. Well, if he has nothing to do with this, let me just tell you, it was a bad time to do all this bullshit that you did, because now everybody is going to be looking at this shit with a magnifying glass. Wrong time to do the shit that you did or allegedly did. Oof. Oh, let me be careful. See what these people are doing over here. Oh, here we go. Okay, I don't know. This is kind of interesting too. RP would like a welfare check done on an employee who hasn't shown up to work since Monday. She has called and texted, no response, no report back. Leave that alone. Interesting. I don't know. The cops better get on him quick, because they're gonna dig his ass up. Wow. Better dig his ass quick. So this guy has a prior murder charge. And these are the new shit over here. Wow. And what happened to your arm, buddy? You're gonna have to start making videos now. You're gonna have to question, you're gonna have to answer to everybody, I guess. The internet is gonna be on this guy. Oh my god, they're gonna have a frenzy when they see this shit. And they're saying he was caught right by the house, close to the house. Oof. Ooh, Jeremy thought he had it bad. Oh, Jeremy, it's nothing, bro. You were last week's news. This is the guy. This is the new news now. Ooh. Well, that's the thing. If the injury to the child is true, honestly, I don't feel any sympathy for this guy. This guy just probably moved up to #1 suspect for a lot of these people. Police are probably gonna have to look into it, and maybe they'll have to rule him out or something. You know, I don't know. Anyway, all right. Let me just check my emails again. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Let me check the emails, see if there's anything else. It's why important to check emails, right? Oh, we didn't finish this. Did I finish this video? I forgot it was two things.
There was no one outside. Today we managed to catch the president outside. Listen to what he told us.
That was it for that. Man, I'm so intrigued now about this guy. I kind of want to look deeper. People are saying different MO. Damn, this Nancy thing is just out of my head now because I'm so focused on this shit with this guy. So the situation in 2014, okay, where this boy Charlie was reported missing. 11 days later, he's found. His father is literally on live with Nancy Grace. Literally, if you didn't see it. Which I'm going to show it again in the new thing, but.
The father, who is now doing a show on, I would hope that the father, who is now doing a show on Nancy Grace, that someone would interrupt the show and advise him that the location you just left, your home, your son was downstairs.
With me is his father, Charlie Bothell. Charlie, we're getting reports that your son has been found in your basement.
So they're literally, this guy's kid's been missing. I think it was for 11 days at the time. They're on a live broadcast, okay? Doing an interview. While they're doing this live broadcast, they find this guy's son.
Sir?
Yo, look at Nancy's face.
Mr. Bothell, are you?
What?
Yeah, we are getting reports that your son has been found alive in your basement.
What?
Yes, that's what. If you could hand me that wire very quickly. Yeah, we're getting that right now from. Yeah, how could your son be alive in your basement?
Comment down below right now. Don't look at anybody's comment. Just go type in the box. Tell me what you're thinking about this.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Look at Nancy's face.
Now, this is just a report that we are hearing out of Detroit that we're trying to confirm. Everybody in New York, please get on it. Let me know when we get Charlie Langton from WWJ. Sir, did you check your basement?
I checked my basement. The FBI checked my basement. The Detroit police checked my basement. My wife checked my basement. I've been down there several times. We've all been checking. How
your range of emotions based on what the police were.
Man, they thought my son was dead, man.
Have you seen your son yet?
No, I haven't.
Do you know where he is?
Where's your wife?
Okay.
Yo, if you didn't see that video yesterday, I'm premiering the new video on it because I dug deeper. And I spent hours last night digging further to find out about that. But if you haven't seen last night's video, you should check it out. It's gaining traction. But right now we're gonna go watch the new update. So I'm gonna move you guys there now. The shit that I found that is weird. Not even that, to throw you guys a twist. To throw you guys even more of a twist because we gotta go. Nancy apparently did some video where she's like, and this was before the arrest and stuff, but she's like, I don't think Dad knew someone was in the basement.
Even as we speak, stepmother probation as to what happened with little Charlie, who told us off camera that the day Charlie went missing, that the stepmother, Monique Bothell, sent him a picture, a text, we believe of an elliptical machine, and that Charlie had not done his chores. In other words, had not completed his exercise regimen for that day. The boy disappeared in the middle of the exercise regimen. There have been other reports that Bothell required his son to do 4,000 steps on an elliptical each day.
All this stuff I get into the new video that's dropping now, and also you should watch yesterday's video.
Led up to said.
But the biggest question, and I want you guys to think when you watch the video, it goes through all the information. Do you think the father knew that Charlie was in the basement, or he didn't? And did the mother know?
Have to deal with that. What does that mean? Nothing good. Does that equal child abuse? That will be for a judge or a jury to decide if there ever are charges.
And this guy actually tried to sue Nancy Grace. I have information on that too.
Right now, there are no charges of child abuse on the show. This is grandmother,
So she spoke about the child abuse thing. So we're gonna go over there. Go watch the video. Thumbs up. I think YouTube's gonna demonetize that new video. Go watch